Hello, Augustana. This week's music for meditation is hymn 759, My Faith Looks Up to Thee. The name of the tune is Olivet, written by Lowell Mason in 1792 to 1872. And the text was written by Ray Palmer, 1808 to 1887. The writer of this hymn tune, named Olivet, is Lowell Mason, America's earliest and best-known champion for music education. In the early 1800s, Lowell Mason moved to Boston from Savannah, where for 16 years he had worked in a bank while directing church choirs on the side. In relocating to Boston, he wanted to focus exclusively on his musical interests. Soon he was directing 3 choirs, publishing hymns, compiling a songbook, and trying to get music education in the Boston public schools. One day in 1832, he bumped into Ray Palmer. Ray, at age 24, was exhausted. For years, he had burned the candle at both ends, working as a clerk in a dry goods store, attending classes at Yale, teaching at a girls' school in New York City, and preparing for the ministry. Now, Mason wanted Palmer to compose some hymns for his projected hymn book. Palmer, too tired to produce anything new, hesitatingly opened his little leather journal and showed Mason a poem he had written 2 years earlier. It was a personal prayer for renewed zeal and courage, composed in his rented room one winter night in 1830 when he had felt sick, tired, and lonely. He later explained that he had wept that winter's evening upon finishing this poem. He writes, "The words for these stanzas were born out of my own soul with very little effort. I recall that I wrote the verses with tender emotion. There was not the slightest thought of writing for another eye, least of all writing a hymn for Christian worship." After reading Palmer's words, Mason ducked into a nearby store for a piece of paper and hurriedly copied them down. That evening in his studio, he pored over this poem, hammering out the perfect tune for it. Shortly after, the 2 men met again, and Mason told the young Palmer, "Mr. Palmer, you may live many years and do many great things, but I think you will be best known to posterity as the author of My Faith Looks Up to Thee." Lowell Mason was right. Ray Palmer did go on to do many good things and to write many fine hymns, but he is remembered by posterity for his very first hymn, one written before he had even entered the ministry.